In a world where new titles drop every day, there are some classics that still hold their ground. Today, we're diving into the top 10 old but gold games that have stood the test of time. Whether you're a seasoned veteran or a curious newcomer, these gems are worth a revisit. Let's jump right in. Assassin's Creed IV Black Flag. Black Flag isn't just another entry in the Assassin's Creed series. It's a swashbuckling adventure that lets you live out your pirate fantasies. You play as Edward Kenway, a privateer turned pirate, whose journey takes him through the Caribbean during the golden age of piracy. The story is rich with historical intrigue, as you navigate the conflict between assassins and Templars while building your legend on the high seas. The open-world gameplay is a mix of naval exploration, ship combat, and classic Assassin's Creed parkour. Sailing your ship, the Jackdaw, across beautiful, sun-soaked waters is an experience in itself, with dynamic weather and treacherous seas adding to the challenge. On land, you'll find yourself in bustling ports, ancient ruins, and dense jungles, each filled with treasures, secrets, and enemies. Black Flag also introduces a deep upgrade system for both Edward and the Jackdaw, ensuring that every voyage brings new opportunities for adventure. It's a pirate's life, and it's every bit as exhilarating as you'd hope. Batman Arkham City. Batman Arkham City is set in a sprawling, crime-ridden district of Gotham turned into a massive open-air prison. The game puts you face-to-face with some of the most iconic villains in the Batman universe. The story is a masterclass in comic book storytelling, blending dark, psychological themes with intense action. Combat is fluid and dynamic, combining martial arts with a rich arsenal of gadgets that make you feel unstoppable. The open world is packed with secrets, side missions, and the occasional encounter that forces you to think like the world's greatest detective. Whether you're gliding from rooftops or sneaking through shadows, Arkham City ensures that every moment is steeped in the atmosphere of Gotham. It's more than just a superhero game. It's a love letter to the Batman mythos, wrapped in a game that redefined what it means to be a vigilante in a city that never sleeps. Brutal Legend. Brutal Legend is what happens when rock and roll meets epic fantasy in a game that's as unique as it is entertaining. You step into the shoes of Eddie Riggs, a roadie who finds himself transported to a heavy metal-inspired world where music is magic, and your guitar is both an instrument and a weapon. The game's story is a tongue-in-cheek celebration of metal culture, filled with hilarious dialogue, epic battles, and an all-star cast led by Jack Black. Gameplay is a mix of action-adventure and real-time strategy, with Eddie leading armies of headbangers into battle against demonic forces. The world is a heavy metal album cover brought to life, with stunning landscapes, monstrous vehicles, and a soundtrack that's a headbanger's dream. What sets Brutal Legend apart is its unapologetic embrace of its theme. It's a game that doesn't take itself too seriously but delivers an experience that's both fun and memorable. It's a love letter to metal fans and a wild ride for everyone else. Crysis 3. Crysis 3 takes the formula of its predecessors and refines it into a high-octane, visually stunning experience. Set in a post-apocalyptic New York City overrun by nature, you play as Prophet, a nanosuit-wearing super soldier on a mission to save humanity from alien invaders and corporate overlords. The story is a mix of sci-fi action and personal redemption, as Prophet battles not only his enemies but the internal struggles brought on by the nanosuit. The gameplay is where Crysis 3 truly shines, offering a sandbox of destruction where you can approach combat with stealth, brute force, or a mix of both. The addition of the Predator Bow, a silent but deadly weapon, adds a new layer of strategy to encounters. Visually, the game is a benchmark for graphical fidelity, with the CryEngine bringing the overgrown urban jungle to life in breathtaking detail. Whether you're stalking enemies through tall grass or taking down helicopters with pinpoint accuracy, Crysis 3 is a feast for the senses and a thrill ride from start to finish. The Darkness 2. The Darkness 2 takes you on a journey into the depths of power and revenge, wrapped in a dark, comic book-inspired world. You play as Jackie Estacado, a mobster who wields the terrifying powers of the darkness, a supernatural force that grants him incredible abilities at the cost of his soul. The story is a mix of horror and crime noir, with Jackie battling both his enemies and the inner demons that the darkness represents. The gameplay is brutal and fast-paced, with a unique dual-wielding system that lets you use both conventional weapons and your demonic powers simultaneously. This creates a visceral combat experience where you can tear through enemies with tentacles, summon darklings to do your bidding, and unleash hell in the most literal sense. The game's cel-shaded art style adds to its graphic novel feel, making every scene pop with intensity. The Darkness 2 isn't just about raw power. It's a story of love, loss, and the battle against the corruption within. Deus Ex Human Revolution. Deus Ex Human Revolution invites you into a world where technology and humanity intersect in fascinating and often disturbing ways. Set in a near future where human augmentation is both a miracle and a curse, you play as Adam Jensen, a security officer who becomes a key player in the global conspiracy surrounding these advancements. The story is a deep, thought-provoking exploration of ethics, power, and what it means to be human. Gameplay is a mix of first-person shooting, stealth, and RPG elements, with a focus on player choice. How you tackle each mission, whether through hacking, stealth, or brute force, has a direct impact on the outcome, making each playthrough unique. The world is richly detailed, with a cyberpunk aesthetic that draws you into its neon-lit streets and corporate skyscrapers. Human Revolution is more than just a game. It's an experience that challenges you to think about the future and the role of technology in our lives. Far Cry 3. Far Cry 3 is the game that put the franchise on the map, offering a dark, twisted tale of survival and insanity. Set on a tropical island that's anything but a paradise, you play as Jason Brody, a tourist who quickly finds himself in a fight for his life against ruthless pirates and mercenaries. The story explores the thin line between hero and villain as Jason descends into the madness of the island, pushed to his limits by the enigmatic and terrifying Vaz Montenegro. The gameplay is an open-world shooter at its best, with a mix of exploration, hunting, crafting, and all-out combat. You have the freedom to approach situations your way, whether it's stealthily taking out enemies with a bow or going in guns blazing. The island itself is a character, with lush jungles, hidden caves, and ancient ruins just waiting to be discovered. Far Cry 3 is more than just a shooter. It's an exploration of the human psyche, wrapped in a game that's as beautiful as it is brutal. Saints Row the Third. Saints Row the Third is set in the fictional city of Steelport. You lead the Third Street Saints as they rise from street gang to pop culture icons. The story is as wild as the gameplay, filled with over-the-top characters, outrageous missions, and a level of customization that lets you create the most outrageous version of yourself. The gameplay is an open-world extravaganza where anything goes, from skydiving out of helicopters to engaging in tank battles on the streets. Weapons are equally ridiculous, with everything from giant shark guns at your disposal. The game's irreverent humor and willingness to push the boundaries of good taste make it a standout in the genre. It's not just about chaos for chaos's sake. Saints Row the Third knows exactly what it's doing and revels in every moment of it. If you're looking for a game that doesn't take itself too seriously and delivers a non-stop roller coaster of fun, this is it. Sleeping Dogs. Sleeping Dogs is the ultimate undercover cop experience, set against the backdrop of a vibrant and dangerous Hong Kong. You play as Wei Shun, a cop tasked with infiltrating the triads, and the game brilliantly captures the tension of living a double life. The storyline is a gripping blend of loyalty, betrayal, and the gray areas of justice, as Wei navigates both the criminal underworld and the pressures of his duty. The gameplay shines with its focus on hand-to-hand combat, inspired by classic martial arts films. Every punch, kick, and counter feels impactful, and the game encourages you to use the environment to your advantage in brutal ways. Driving and gunplay are equally polished, with high-speed chases and intense shootouts adding to the thrill. Sleeping Dogs also immerses you in its setting, with bustling markets, neon-lit streets, and a world that feels alive. It's a game that stands out for its story, combat, and the rich atmosphere of its setting. Spec Ops: The Line. Spec Ops: The Line is a game that dares to ask the hard questions, delivering a narrative that goes far beyond the typical military shooter. Set in a sandstorm-ravaged Dubai, you lead a small squad on a rescue mission that quickly spirals into something much darker. The story explores the horrors of war, the moral ambiguity of leadership, and the psychological toll of combat in a way that few games have ever dared. Gameplay is a mix of tactical shooting and squad management, but it's the narrative choices you make that truly define the experience. As you progress, the game forces you to confront the consequences of your actions in ways that are both shocking and thought-provoking. Visually, the game uses the desolate, sand-covered ruins of Dubai to create a haunting atmosphere that mirrors the character's descent into madness. Spec Ops: The Line isn't just a game you play. It's a game that plays you, challenging your perceptions of right and wrong and leaving a lasting impact long after you've put down the controller.